the recording in theory has started, so we'll look forward to seeing it on YouTube if we do get there one day. Well, everyone, welcome all aboard to our District 112 Zoom training session for this wonderful Tuesday evening. And I'm hoping that you'll all be able to get at least a little tidbit of information that'll help you build your Zoom skills, your Zoom database. Now, there's a lot of us here, so I want to very briefly make a quick run around everyone and do a brief introduction and what you would like to get out of this. Just a quick note as well, Cheryl, I'm using an external server, so it won't prompt everyone. Okay, but in this case, you'll be restricted to just a very brief, say 30 seconds, just a quick, your name, where you're from, and what you'd like to get out of our training session here tonight. All right, we'll begin with my treasured Sergeant at Arms, Tony.
Thank you, Troy. Yes, I'm Tony Sisson, and I come from Wanganui and Palmerston North Advanced Clubs. And what I want to get out of it, I started to get out of it last Wednesday, a very, very useful and helpful session, which I used all the advice on at the competition on Sunday. And I just want to continue with that because I'm a slow learner. But Troy's the man and he can do it. Thank you. Welcome everybody else.
I'm sure you would have made the time without that flattery. Okay, next on our list here is Mr. Nathan Piahana. Welcome, Nathan.
Kia ora, Troy. Kia ora koutou. My name is Nathan Piahana. I'm the Area Director for O2, and this is probably my second session here. Just keen to observe and see what Troy has to offer. Once again, thanks, Troy.
Thanks, Nathan. On to you next, Richard from DivQ.
Hi, I'm Richard from Rotorua. I have been a Zoom master before, but with simple ones such as a speech contest. But when it comes to evaluation, breakout rooms, and there's probably a lot of questions I don't know because I don't even know there's answers to them. I don't even know the answers that I don't know questions to. So I need to learn about all the tips and tricks behind the scene. I'm looking forward to that. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Richard. Shane, Mr. D112 Zoom, you're up next.
I'm here to learn anything. It's all about learning, and didn't know anything about Zoom pre-COVID, didn't even know how to spell it, but now I know how to spell it, and now I need to know how to use it. So it's all about, if I can take one snippet back, that's all I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm. That's good to hear. Practice, practice.
Yeah.
All right, Hamish, how about yourself?
Yeah, I'm running a contest this Sunday, and we're a little bit understaffed, so I'll be multitasking. So I have done it before, but I will just get a bit of a refresher. And I think, you know, if I've got a tip for anyone when you're doing this stuff, I've found is just don't relax. If you just keep on your tippy toes, you'll be fine, and just keep watching.
Mm-hmm.
Don't enjoy yourself. Just keep watching.
Don't enjoy yourself. Well, we'll hopefully try and put that to bed. Beatrix, you're next.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Beatrix. I'm from Rotorua as well as Richard. I'm in his division, and I'm just here to learn more about breakout rooms and some little tricks. Thank
Great.
you.
Hopefully we can cover that for you tonight. All right, welcome aboard, Angela, another prestigious division director.
Good evening, my name is Angela and I'm the division and director, and my goal today is just pick up some more confidence, and then I just want to avoid when there's a panic that, oh my god, which button to push. So just hopefully get some tips to avoid all those panic moments. Thanks, Troy.
No worries. I'm sure we can do that. Ellen, how about you? Where are you from? What do you bring?
Hi, my name is Alan. I'm from Auckland. I hope to learn how to host a Zoom meeting. Back to you, Troy.
Cool. Thank you for joining us. All right, Cheryl, with the very fancy background there.
Thanks, Troy. Hi, everyone. I'm Cheryl from Silverdale Ariwa in Auckland Advanced. Oh, and Northern Impromptu. Great online club if you're looking for something to do on a Friday night. And I'm looking for breakout rooms and some of the more fancier stuff, like sending people to one room and then bringing them to another and then doing bits and pieces like that. Things you can do with breakout rooms. Thank you, Troy.
Great, thanks, Cheryl. Breakouts certainly do have some kinks, so there's a lot for us to be able to work through in there. We won't get through it all tonight, but of course we just need to give you a little taste, to give you enough to practice it yourself. All right, Neil, how about you? What would you like to learn tonight?
Good evening. I'm a member of Auckland Advanced and also Franklin. I'm glad to see that there are other members from those clubs here tonight. Zoom is always changing its software, and there's a few new things that creep up, and sometimes it's hard to keep up. So maybe there's one or two features there that I haven't come across, but it's always a good idea to get a refresher occasionally about what is there, because often you don't use a lot of the facilities all the time. So it's good to have a refresher. Troy.
Thanks, Neil, and completely agree. Anyone and everyone can always do with that constant reinforcement. Lowe's, I've come across to you now. Welcome.
Hi, can you hear me? My
Yep.
speaker on my laptop is not the best, but great. My name's Luce. I'm the Area M5 Director. I'm also a member of the CBD Club and of Ponsonby Toastmasters. And I'm here tonight to learn how to do this Zoom Master stuff, just in case I get called upon or I need to help out at a competition. It's just a good kind of trick to have, skill to have. So
Great.
thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, it's really nice to have people get out there and want to upskill. So hopefully we can do that for you tonight, Luce. All right, Rob, Mr. Albany Toastmasters. Keep it brief.
Yes, I plan ahead. I've got a meeting tomorrow night. Yes, I'm with Albany Toastmasters and Auckland Advanced, and the reason I'm here is to find out what I don't know. I've been doing the Zoom thing for a while, in fact since Troy was a boy, but there's always something to learn, and I'm hoping I'm running online for the two clubs I'm a member of, and bluntly I need some help, so I will be finding out who's interested and the tricks that I need. And breakout rooms is something I think everybody's interested in.
Yeah.
That's me.
Cool. No, like it or not, it's a pleasure to have you here. All right, Georgie, over to you.
Thank you, Troy. I'm Georgie Templeton. I'm a member of a few clubs, including Auckland. Stop laughing, Rob. Including Auckland Advance. My home club is Dynamic Diners, and there's a few others thrown in there. And I do, but I'd like to do more on the Toastmaster side of things, and hence always looking to upskill.
Great, thank you, Georgie. Nice to have your internet working as well.
Yes, for those who don't know, I've had some major internet problems at home recently, but today I'm at my daughter's and they've got 10G.
Ooh. That sounds exciting. Okay, is it Kiora?
Good pronunciation. Giora Barzilai, Neps and Toastmasters. I am here because I'm not sure if this is the right session for it, but I had an issue in a speech that I did a few weeks ago where the video and the audio were not synchronizing. So I thought I might find an answer for that here. But if not, then I'll just stick around and see what else I can learn.
Well, we won't quite be covering that. This one's focused on the Zoom Master role for contests, but hopefully you will still be able to gain some knowledge just in general Zoom, if not for those types of roles. So thank you for joining us, and hopefully you enjoy sticking around. Deborah, you're next on our list.
Oh, thank you. I'm from the Silver Service Club, which is an advanced club. We meet in Auckland. We're a dinner club, and that's the only club I belong to now. And I'm here because if I end up having to do Zoom for a contest, I want to know how to put people into rooms and get them back out when they need to. Back to you.
Thank you. And yeah, it certainly is a skill that's much needed, especially at the moment when these things get sprung upon us pretty short notice. All right, Vanessa, how about you? What would you like to get out of tonight's session?
Yeah, welcome everyone here tonight. I'm in a club, Franklin, with Neil, alongside Neil, and we are a hybrid club at the moment. So we would like to get more members in, whether they're Zoom or face-to-face. And being hybrid, I guess we need to know how everything is going to work and how best we can do that so that they have the best experience as well. So, and with our being on Zoom, anything that you can share that can make our speeches better and the experience easier will be much appreciated. Thank you.
Great. No, I'm sure you'll get the hang of it. You also look very professional with your headset on there, so that's a great start.
Look, these laptops do not have the best audio, and it's the only way that you can get clarity with speaking.
For sure. All right, next on our list there is my own Area K1 director, Mr. O'Leary. Yes, that's you.
Yes. Good evening, everybody. My name is John O'Leary. Everyone knows me as BJ. I'm Area K1 Area Director, and I'm also Logistics Manager for District 112. Zoom is a part of the journey going forward, and to learn as much as we can. Rob's been helping me tremendously, and as Troy has been too, but it's the way of the future, and this is what we have to do. I'm also using it quite a bit in my celebrant work. So I'm looking forward to learning a lot more and being part of the team tonight. Thank you, Troy.
Great. No, it's cool to have you along. Chitra, how about you? What would you like to get out of tonight's session? Don't forget to unmute yourself there.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Chitra, and I'm from MCBC Toastmaster Club, Papa Toy Toy. And actually, I really want to see how you guys work behind the scene. And I don't know much about Zoom. That's the reason I'm here today. Thank you, Troy.
Great. No, thank you for coming along. Now, Greg, I see you've separated yourself from Nathan there. Or hopefully your audio will connect in a moment. I'll quickly, oh, there we go. Welcome, Greg. Don't forget to unmute there.
There you go. Yep. Hi there, how's it going? My name's Greg Mulholland. I'm from MCBC Toastmasters and also Te Papa. Just here to see if I can learn any more about Zoom. So it's got to be a good thing. So that's what I'm here for.
Depends who you ask, but hopefully it's a good thing.
Right.
All right, Daniel, you're up next, looking very cool with the sunglasses there.
Thank you, Troy. Yeah, good evening, everyone. My name is Daniel Wang from K4, belong to Albany Toastmaster. On Saturday, we had an area contest. I just failed. My skills are not enough. So I came to learn and also, to share my bad experience, if possible. Back to you, Troy.
Thank you for joining us. And yeah, it's great to have you here to learn. You can never quite get enough. All right, and then the last one is David. Are you there, David?
Hey, Troy. Yes, I'm here.
G'day, welcome.
Hey,
just
Troy.
a quick introduction to yourself and what you'd like to get out of tonight's session.
Yeah. Hey everyone. My name is David. So I am from Untitled Toastmasters. Haven't been using Zoom for quite a while, so since I'll be the Zoom master in the online contest. So I wish to get a refresh on the techniques by attending this session.
Sweet. No, it's great to have you along here, and it's certainly good to have someone of your experience as well, because there's certainly will be things that I will miss, can guarantee it, and it's great to have someone here to pull me up on it. So thank you for joining us, and hopefully you do still get that refresher that you're after. All right. Oh, nice cat there, Greg. Okay, just before we move on, I will, and I mentioned I wouldn't do this too often, but this is being recorded. So to our newbies who have just joined us, if you don't want to be recorded, then keep your videos off. Otherwise, please, yeah, pop those videos on, let us see your lovely faces, and also be sure to interact and to talk and ask questions to make sure that you are getting out of the session what you need. Alrighty, so a very brief introduction. I guess I should introduce myself actually. For some reason I forgot that. Well, my name is Troy Smith. I'm from Area K1, which is in the far north over here, and I'm our District Zoom Master, which is quite the title. Don't quite know if I fit it yet, but we'll see how we go. And at least for now, I have tasked myself with the valiant crusade to be able to help out and upskill all of you wonderful people. So tonight's session is focused on the Zoom Master role. So that's based around our contests to make sure that we're able to, and particularly for evaluation and for table topics contests are the most complicated. But the contests themselves, having them online through Zoom, there's this extra layer of management and security that we need to add. And the Zoom Master's role is there to help coordinate that and bring that all together into a nice tidy little bundle, just so no one throughout the meeting will notice that there's all this extra stuff that you have to take care of. Want it to be as smooth and breezy as possible. So, for starters, I've given everyone these secret powers to be a co-host here this evening. And now as a co-host, you get a number of new permissions that you'll have. And now very quickly, I'd like to point you into our chat box where I've uploaded a little background for you tonight, which is Daniel is representing that. If you're interested in a nice little gimmick for you to take home. There's also the quick Zoom Master overview in there, version number 3, which is a document I've put together with collaboration from a few others to try and give everyone a nice guideline to follow. Should they need to coordinate one of these Zoom meetings? Should they need to support someone? Should they need to just quickly find out a few facts that they're wanting to practice? Then the overview is there for everyone to reference and to help through these times. So please do download the virtual background and our Zoom Master overview there from the chat box. The overview will also be some sort of a guideline for us this evening, but we won't follow it too closely because we do need to be flexible still. Also, as I mentioned, this is interactive, so ask questions in the chat if you like, but also feel free to unmute yourself and talk up. Okay, so the first thing that I touched on was that we all have these special powers as co-hosts or hosts and as Zoom Masters. So this gives you the chance to see a whole load of extra permissions down in your bottom toolbar there. So if you grab your mouse and you hover down the bottom, you'll find a bunch of settings. There'll be your classic mute and stop video, but there'll also be one security, participants, chat, share screen. Could I confirm that everyone can see those? Give a quick thumbs up or a nod. Nice. So the first one we want to keep an eye on, and this will also roll roughly in the order that you would like to check them inside your own contest. We want to check the security features. So if you'd like, go ahead and click on the little security tab there, which is marked with the nice defensive shield. And now the 2 points which we prefer to focus on through this tab is enabling the waiting room and hiding profile pictures. So a quick quiz, why would we want to have a waiting room enabled for people coming into Zoom? Does anyone?
People that are waiting to come into a meeting where somebody is already talking, perhaps halfway through a speech, and you don't really want to interrupt them.
Yeah, for sure. We want to manage who's coming in just to make sure that either we're not going to interrupt someone, or before we start the contests, there's also the case of if you're having a bit of congestion inside the meeting, if you're trying to reassign people or rename them, then you can also give them that space to wait inside the room just for a brief moment while you're organizing others. Okay, so
Can I ask a question, Troy?
Yeah,
so
sure.
with that waiting room, that's not the main meeting room, so it's effectively a lobby before you go into the main.
Yeah, indeed. So then it's just a space for them to wait for a brief moment. And as an example, also for co-hosts that you'll have the power to admit people through the waiting room, we'll put our little guinea pig over here. We'll put them into the waiting room just to showcase what this will look like and what this will happen. So if we put guinea pig into the waiting room, then there'll be an alert that will pop up for you. And then that gives you the option to admit the guinea pig into the room. And that's like any other participant who will log into your meeting. That'll show up as soon as they enter the waiting room. If you like, you can message them, let them know what's happening, but alternatively, you can bring them on in as soon as they can. Yes, Rob, you don't have to raise your hand, or so don't forget to unmute yourself. You're still muted there, Rob.
Most people prefer it that way. You moved the pig out of the meeting, if in effect, into the waiting room. How did you do that?
So then let's see, we will cover the participants tab and its benefits in a minute, but you're able to hover over top of a participant inside that tab, and then you'll be given the option to put them in the waiting room if you need to. Cool, thank you. Good question. All right.
You're on mute, Troy.
It happens to everyone, doesn't it? So we almost always want to have our waiting rooms enabled, and that just gives us that extra layer of security. Now, the next one on our list here, and this is something that Rob mentioned tonight as well in a judge's briefing, is the hide profile pictures feature. Now, Rob, why would we want to do that?
Oh, the judges in particular, you don't really want them out identified, and your fancy pictures can identify them.
Mm-hmm. We know.
Added to which, some of them are pretty horrible, and you want to get rid of them anyway. But I'm not allowed to say that.
In some cases, maybe. A chap who I'm sure a lot of you would recognise, Mr. Neville Isherwood, loves his wizards. And so he has a very recognisable wizard as a profile picture of his. And so just as an example, that if there's someone pretty well known who has that picture, then if they're a judge but the picture is appearing, someone might go, oh, I see old Neville is judge number 3 tonight. And then that gives us the ability to hide them. So as a quick example, Giora has his profile picture up at the moment. So if we enable, which is checking the hide profile pictures feature, and anyone can do this, then his picture will disappear. There we go.
How do we do that?
through the security tab, just click on the hide profile pictures feature.
And that
Now,
hides everybody.
Yeah, so everyone is working on this at the moment. So then it's a live version where whatever changes one person will make, it will immediately take effect on all of our Zooms. So that's why it's constantly being turned on and off.
So Troy, none of this is working on my screen.
How so? Are you on a computer or are you on a tablet or?
I'm on a laptop,
Mm-hmm.
but people are not, so I'm not seeing the effects of what you're explaining. To me, they're still in my room. They're not disappearing.
Ah.
And profile pictures are still all up and live.
So then the videos are up. Giora was the only one with a profile picture that we could see. Oh, BJ has his up now. And in theory, the profile picture only shows up when the video is turned off.
Okay.
So that's why you can mostly see us.
Okay. So what I'm seeing, so to me, it's hiding that video, because if you've got people judging, you don't want people to see their faces either, do you? You just want a screen with judge number 1 or something like that on it. Isn't that how you do it for contests?
Yeah, for sure. And so then that will be covered in the judge's briefing, and they'll all be aware that they need to turn off their own videos. But we also do have the power to turn off someone's video if we need to, which is simply right-clicking. Oh, no worries. Thank you for asking. And turning off people's videos is simply right-clicking on their tile or in the participants tab, and then you can click to stop their video. All right, so that's our little security tab, and now we'll quickly move along onto the participants tab there. So hopefully everyone has that. It's the little tab beside our security one with the number 24 and some little people figures. Now the participants tab is your best way to quickly interact with people. So by interact, I mean that could be asking them to unmute, it could be muting them, checking their status, stopping their video, or like our poor little guinea pig, it could be sending them into the waiting room. So it's very important for us to be able to have a grasp of what the participants tab can do, as well as why we might want to use that. I see someone's found the spotlight feature. And so there's also a number of other uses which will be very helpful. Not too much in the case of contests, but totally depends on what you're wanting to get out of Zoom and helps you maximize that.
Troy?
Yes, Richard, what's up?
Okay, so if you click on somebody's tile, you say you can put them in the waiting room. Let's try that again. If you can click on someone's picture, right click, you can put them in the waiting room. Is that correct?
Not on their profile picture. However, if you want to try it with guinea pig, then you jump into the participants tab, scroll right down to the bottom, and then if you click on more, that's where all of your options will appear. Someone's just shifted guinea pig there, so
that's fine.
So he's disappeared.
And the reason we can't with the rest is because we're all co-hosts. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're only able to, your powers only extend a certain distance. So for example, a co-host won't be able to rename or to shift the host, and then a participant won't be able to rename or shift a co-host.
So we can, okay, thank you.
But then we can shift around participants as much as we like, which is usually the people who we need to take care of. All right, so some of...
question here, another question, Troy, before we move on.
Yep.
Where you've got the name guinea pig, so you mightn't want anybody to see that particular name in the middle of the tile. Are you as a host or co-host able to do something with that, or does the person have to do it themselves, rename themselves?
So we can rename them, but you're not, as far as I'm aware, not able to entirely hide a name. Now, one option which we do suggest to our contestants is that they can hide non-video participants. And if we have someone with their video turned off, so for example, if I turn mine off now, and you hover over my name, this is my tile inside gallery view or speaker view, whichever one you're in. If you right click on my tile, then there should be hide non-video participants, which is, say, the third option from the top, perhaps, from the bottom, sorry. And then what that will do, that will hide, like it says, hide all of the non-video participants. Now that's only for you, so each contestant will need to do that on their own accord. But it is a very helpful way to maximize what you see on your screen, allow you to only see all of the people wanting to engage with you, and you can hide out all the rest. And then, as they pop their videos back on.
Yeah. So how do we get you back because you've disappeared? Oh, there you are.
That's a good question. So then I believe that you can go up to the top right corner, which is view, and you can release that through that option there.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on, we will still focus on the participants tab for now, but just two very key features. So inside that tab there, you've got a few notes, and down the bottom, you'll have invite, mute all, and then a more button, which is the 3 dots. Can everyone see those? I see a quick head shake from BJ.
Sorry, could you tell me again? I missed that. Sorry.
That's okay. So we're inside our participants tab there. And then down the bottom of the participants tab, once you've opened it, you'll see invite, mute all, and little 3 dots, which should be on the right-hand side of your small window. Now, clicking on those 3 dots, that'll take you to more options. And now inside here, there's a couple of key features which we focus on as a Zoom Master, which is mute participants upon entry. Now we want to make sure that when people join the meeting room, they will be muted no matter what. And that's automatic, and it helps it so if someone is talking in the background while they're entering the room, quite often we all do it. They're not going to suddenly barge in, start talking about what they had for lunch today, and interrupt poor old BJ's international speech.
When I try to open that participant tab, I can see only invite, and there's a, when I press that, there's a 3 option come out: default email, email, and Yahoo email. There's a, if I want to invite someone and I'm only getting that, then I can invite.
Okay, so we won't be clicking on the invite tab, but there should be one to the right of invite, or 2 to the right of that button.
No, that's the only thing I'm getting.
You have to click on the participant on the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, you click on the up arrow.
Yeah, I'm pressing the row. Yeah, I'm trying.
So you have to click on the little participant on the bottom of that screen, and then on the right you're gonna have a window showing up, and that's where the 3 buttons are, what Troy talking about.
Okay, if you're having trouble there, Chitra, we can run through that again at the end of the session. It's also in the guide, so hopefully that will help. So then the other options...
show her on share screen. Maybe you could show her on share screen.
Yeah, we better not dwell on it too much there, Shane. The other options that we have there, you've got allow participants to unmute themselves, which that one, when unchecked, that will make it so any old participant can't unmute. And now that's very helpful for us to use during the contests. So then whether it be an accidental interruption or it be one on purpose, Hopefully it wouldn't be on purpose, but you never know. It makes it so that they won't be able to do that and won't be able to accidentally or purposefully interrupt. Now, the other one that we have down there is another place for us to enable the waiting room as well. So moving on from there, we want to shift across our toolbar into the chat feature. So hopefully you've all had access to the chat feature, well, tonight and in the past, of course. But there are a few things that we want to manage through our chats. And now where we all go, oh, all right, I guess we can do that. So what we want to do in our chat box here, now in the little window where it says type message here, there'll be a file in the right corner and then a smiley face or an emoji. And then beside that, you'll again have those 3 dots for more options. Now, clicking on the more options there, you've got a range of options to set for who participants can chat with. And now, much like what we've been striving for tonight, is that we want to minimize the disruptions to our wonderful speakers. And one thing which can, unfortunately, be pretty distracting is when people are using the chats when they shouldn't, because that'll create lots of unnecessary pop-ups, or if they have the chat window open, they'll see it streaming alongside them. So what we want to do here is click on the more options, go into participants can chat with, and select host and co-hosts. Now that will make it so people can't use the public chat, but should they need to, they can send a private message to yourself as the Zoom master, as the host, or to any of the co-hosts, which in the case of contests, your co-hosts will be your contest chairs, whoever is obliging, your chief judge, and your sergeant at arms in most cases.
Mine's only showing host, it doesn't show co-host.
Is that can chat with, it only says host?
Yes, it says no one, host only, everyone publicly and directly. That doesn't have a host and co-host option.
That's unusual. It's a little bit different than mine. Does everyone else, or does anyone else have that issue? No?
I'm just wondering, Troy, if some people haven't done their software updates.
Potentially, although most recently Zoom has made it, let's see, compulsory for a number of important updates. So
well,
I'd imagine
mine
it's
was
been
updated
updated
yesterday, so should be pretty much up to date.
Yeah.
It's not a Chromebook or something like that, is it? Because Chromebook.
Nope. That's a bit unusual, Georgie. But at least you can see what we want to look at, and that's where you'll be able to find the option when you come to it. All right, and so we're also, by the way, anyone is able to click on those. So you guys as co-hosts, you can change the options around if you like and test them and see what happens. So that's a brief run through of our security tabs, our participants, and our chat features. Now, the one thing which I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, are keen to test out is the breakout rooms function. So back to our trusty toolbar down the bottom there, shuffle across from share screen, past record, and then onto the 4 squares for breakout rooms, and click on that tab. Has everyone found that one? Quick show of hands.
No.
Yes.
No. I don't have that.
No?
I don't have that at all. So. Maybe there are 3 dots more, and then I can see the breakout rooms.
Okay. Yeah. If you're that is a good point. Thanks, Angela. If you're on a smaller screen, then your toolbar will be reduced. And so then that breakout rooms and a bunch of other features might be inside the more option.
Cool.
Okay, so now that we're in our breakout rooms tab, also, Chitra, you mentioned you had some trouble finding it too, or have you found it now?
I found it.
Okay, great. Okay, so please don't click anything just yet while we're in here. We need to have them closed for the example. It is quite nice to see everyone, let's see, trigger happy, perhaps. So don't click anything just yet. But now that we have our breakout rooms tab open, bearing in mind that these are currently closed, you'll be in your own private instance. So in here, all of us can assign people, we can change the options, recreate or add rooms. We can do this on our own private account. And then once they do get opened, whoever opens them first, their settings will be carried over. So the important thing to note here is that we only want one person at a time to be setting up the breakout rooms. Otherwise, you might have someone do all this work and then cheeky old Tony over here will suddenly jump in, do one change, open the rooms, and then that poor person's work is all gone because it's taken Tony's settings since he was the one who opened the rooms. So be very mindful that we only want one person setting up our breakout rooms at a time. So something to note in here, which is one of the more important things, is we want to check out our options tab. So inside the breakout rooms window, and then down the bottom left-hand corner of that, you should have a little blue options button. If we click on that one there, that'll take you into another range of options, showing whether participants can choose their rooms, whether or not they can return to the main session, that's where we are now, whether you can automatically assign them, so that's as soon as you assign them to a room and have it opened, then they'll receive an invitation straight away without having to find it on their own accord. There's also the option to have them close automatically after a particular amount of time, but that's not super beneficial for contests. And then there's a countdown as well after closing, which again isn't overly beneficial for our contests. The one most important thing that we want to keep our eye on here is the chance to automatically move our participants. And now the reason why that's the most important feature for us to have checked, to have enabled, is it gives us the chance to almost bypass someone's Zoom knowledge. We don't have to have very experienced contestants in terms of Zoom. We can just simply shift them to their allocated room and they'll receive a pop-up straight away, or they'll be shifted sometimes without a pop-up. So that allows us to just make it so it's a much smoother, more pleasant experience if someone isn't overly clued up on our wonderful tool that we have here tonight. So
does that mean they don't have to click the pop-up? They just automatically will get moved by the Zoom master. Is that right?
So there are some cases where it will send a direct pop-up to your screen, and then you just need to click, yes, I'd like to accept the invitation. But there are also other cases where it will shift them without the pop-up. So that it changes on a number of situations there. I'll just mute you for now. Sorry, Shane. Alrighty.
Troy, do we have 2 or 3 breakout room at the same time?
Yeah. So like we have here, and we'll talk about that as soon as we shift out from the options tab.
Sure.
Another option which you may or may not want to have enabled is that chance to allow the participants to enter to the main session. So if some people are experiencing trouble with Zoom, and I had this at one of our recent contests over the weekend, where you don't always have the option to automatically shift them, and this is for a particular account or person. Sometimes things will go wrong, and it might not allow you to shift them around like you would prefer to. So then having the chance to shift themselves around, if they're experienced, then that certainly makes it a lot less stressful, because if you're a contestant and you can't be shifted out of the breakout room and still you're not able to leave on your own accord, then the only option is to leave the meeting and then re-enter. So we do want to be very careful. We want to make sure we have that security in case someone, either accidentally leaves or again leaves the breakout room on purpose and early, and then here's something they probably shouldn't. We do want security against that, but we also want to try and make it as easy of an environment as we can for our contestants. So that's for yourselves as the Zoom master to find your own preference and how you think is best to serve our contestants. Okay, so now that we've finished in our option setting, we have automatically move all assigned participants ticked, and in this case we'll also have allow participants to return to the main session ticked as well. Then we're going to be able to start assigning people and setting up our breakouts. So the breakout rooms currently, these ones here have been preset. So as soon as I opened up the meeting room, they're already there and waiting for me. Now, some of you, your contests will have this and some of them won't. This can be done through the Zoom website if you like. We won't go through that tonight, but it is an option, and we have a monthly Zoom session next Wednesday, I believe, which if you are interested in learning more about that, come along. So we've been lucky enough to have our breakout rooms preset, and in this case we can jump straight into reassigning people or assigning people for the first instance. So hopefully you all have your breakout rooms tab still open or window still open, and then alongside your breakout room you'll have the name on the left, for example contestants briefing room, and then off to the right of that you'll have a blue assign button. So then that assign button there, if we click on that, that gives us the list of all of our participants. So that would be co-hosts as well as Guinea Pig, who's our only participant, I think, here tonight. So
except yourself.
Yep, that's good picking. So it doesn't have yourself as the user, or it doesn't have people with greater power than yourself, like the host.
So as a host, you can't go into a contestant's briefing room to listen in?
Yeah, you, let's see, you shouldn't or you can't?
I'm asking if you could.
So yes, you could. You possibly shouldn't, depending on, what's happening. You might want to leave them to it. But yes, you sure can. So the host, well, if you want to shift yourself, things are a little bit different, and we'll cover that off once we open the breakout rooms. As I've also found with some of the club officer trainings, you can't reassign the host or assign the host anywhere, which I would try to assign Wendy, who was the then host, into her correct officer breakout. Unfortunately, I can't, and you just have to leave them to it. So hopefully your host is experienced and you don't have to push them around. One very handy feature that I'd like to point out before we go crazy and assign people and then open our rooms is we want to check out the search feature. So if you've clicked on the assign button and you get your list of co-hosts or participants, up the top of that list you'll have the search feature there. So with contests, as well as in other cases, you'll be very particularly renaming people. Contests, for example, you might have your 5 contestants, and the naming function might be TT. So for table topics, TTC5 space and then their name, much like I've got here. So when you're searching for some very particular contestants or members, then you can start typing their name or different items inside the chat. I guess using myself as an example isn't great because no one can search me.
Yeah, but this is what you did with the training. You call us VPE or you call us PRES.
Yeah.
So everybody who was PRES became easy to search.
Yeah. So as soon as you search those particular letters, then they'll appear and you can very quickly check all of those people. And then they'll be, once the rooms are opened, they'll be allocated to the correct place in a nice and efficient manner. All right, so as a quick test of our new knowledge, if everyone could go ahead and start reassigning people into the different breakout rooms, don't open them just yet, but go through and reassign a couple of people into any and every of the breakout rooms, whichever one you'd like to pick. Bearing in mind that this is your own private instance at the moment, and when eventually we do open them, it'll pick the setting of whoever opened the rooms first to take hold of. Okay, a quick show of hands. Have we all had a chance to assign a few people? Yep, hands go up, that's great. Sweet. Alrighty then, so whenever we want to go ahead, we'll have a quick race to see who can open them first. So there we go. Okay, so now that the rooms, well, I'll stop talking because we'll all disappear. Did no one assign you there, Lois? They've left you out.
Maybe I didn't assign myself. Maybe I was fastest on the buzzer.
Oh, was it you?
I don't know.
Okay. Hey, you're on mute there, Rob.
I said I left the room as soon as I got in it.
Okay, so we'll close our rooms again now. We'll bring everyone back.
You talked about the length. I see you can have the rooms open for 30 minutes or an hour. What do you generally recommend? Because some people close the rooms during a contest, for example, and then try and reopen them later on, which I believe you can do.
You can if you like. Personally, I stick away from it, but you certainly can.
Presumably, then you have them open for, what, a couple of hours?
Yep, and that's not hurting anyone. So one of the things that I like to try and avoid by keeping the rooms open, at least until the break, is firstly, you can just as efficiently, if not more efficiently, shift people, be it contestants, into the main session these days, thanks to the mighty Zoom updates that we keep getting. It's also preventing someone from accidentally closing the rooms and then reopening them with the same settings and hence the same people assigned. Because quite often we'll find that people can accidentally reopen the rooms and suddenly they'll send all of the contestants back to their briefing room, they'll send all of the judges back to the briefing room, and all of a sudden you create this weird little chaos just by one accidental click. So it's helpful to keep yourself from creating those problems, and by keeping your breakout rooms, oh, there we go, as an example. So team, we have a great example there where someone's opened up the breakout rooms and they've shifted everyone immediately out into the previous settings. So we want to try and avoid that. And to try and avoid that, I'll keep the breakout rooms open, and instead I will just invite everyone. Someone's decided to close them after all. And instead we'll bring everyone back.
I think we've got too many
Troy.
Indians.
Yeah, perhaps there
quick
are a few
question.
too many people. They're causing trouble.
Wasn't me. Wasn't me.
The
But we
first
do know who
person
it
who
was.
says it wasn't me probably was that.
Okay, everyone. So fingers off the buzzer. Don't get too trigger happy. So now I will.
Question, Troy?
Yes.
Can I ask a question, Troy?
We'll go to David first. Sorry, Shane. He's. All right, David.
Oh, thanks, Troy. Yeah. So in the past, I remember there were some situations where maybe like a co-host already left the breakout room back to the main session, and then so I remember we can't, like the host can't move them back or move into a different breakout room. I can't remember the exact scenario. So on the breakout room list, they still show assigned to a specific breakout room, but they actually are still in the main session. So we can't help them to go to a specific breakout room. They will have to do the operation to go back to the breakout room before we can do anything.
Yeah,
Is that still like a
Yeah, carry on.
Okay. Oh yeah. So is that still a similar situation with the Zoom update now?
Unfortunately, that does still happen. It's not as common as it used to because now it seems to be more of an error. But we do. Let's see. Oop. Excuse the noise. Oh, who keeps opening them? I think we have to sort these people out there, Rob. You're on mute there, Rob.
The words I'm using, it's probably best.
Perhaps. Once again, we'll call everyone back and I'll have to make sure they...
Before you do that, I see on the list there, it's got Beatrix, for example, not joined.
Yeah.
I find if you press that, does that not bring them back into the contestants' waiting room, or whichever room it was?
Not quite. I see that Deborah as well, it's also showing up for her, but so that's just a status symbol. That lets you know whether or not they've been assigned but they're not inside the room, or whether they are active inside that breakout room. So you'll notice that if people are active inside the breakout room, they'll have the green status symbol beside their name. And if they're not active, they'll have the blank grey circle. Okay, so everyone has returned. Please don't open the rooms. Leave this next bit to me, and it's also time for us to finish. So I'll very quickly take us into the rooms, and then we'll make our closing notes. So fingers off, don't touch anything. And thank you, Rob. Yep, show of hands. Just as a quick note, if you are a Sergeant at Arms inside the evaluation contest, this is what the contestants may be asked to do. They'll fold up their papers in front of you, and then they have to, at all times, keep their hands on top of their head and eye contact with yourself to make sure they're not sneakily checking their notes when they shouldn't. Okay, everyone has great form there. Well done. Well done. Ellen, nice form. Okay, so I'll open our rooms there. Now, there are a couple of people who are unassigned, but I'll sort that out.
Someone must have opened the room.
Okay. G'day everyone. So once again, don't touch anything. I see cheeky Tony and Vanessa have gone out again. Some people you can never quite control. So now we're inside our spare room here. And what we want to do, or why is it important for us to be in here? Now, the dynamics, and I might just quickly ask Tony and Vanessa to re-enter the breakout. Okay. So the dynamics are slightly different when we're inside our breakout room. We can see a few different features, or a few less in some cases. We can also assign and reassign people in a much faster fashion. Well, when I say faster, it will automatically shift people into different breakout rooms, if you please. And you also have the option to right-click and send them to the main session as well. As well as for yourself personally, you have the option to jump between breakout rooms. So if I can just quickly confirm everyone still has their breakout window open, show of hands. Jolly good. Now I've just prompted Tony and Vanessa. Hopefully they will. Okay, here we go. We'll bring them back. Okay, I have to. Anyone good at growling people? give them some swift justice.
It
oh
is.
Dear, and now people are closing stuff.
It wasn't me. I haven't done a thing. I've just pushed quit.
That's okay. So everyone, before you leave here, and unfortunately I can't stop it from closing, there are many different options inside breakouts, and you would have noticed that there's the join button for you this time. It won't be showing up now because the rooms are closing.
Yeah.
But you'll be able to click on join on whichever breakout room you wish, and that'll automatically shift you into the room, and that's just a great way for you to support people in case they need it. Now, the other quick option is that where we used to be able to assign people, if you hover over their name, again, while they're properly open, then you'll also have a move or an exchange option. So I'll talk to you soon once we re-enter. We're all coming back again. All right, I'm not too sure what to do with you people. You sure are a little bit unpredictable. So then you'll be able to assign people and move people very quickly between breakout rooms. Another important feature for us is that you're able to, when you go to move people, you can click move, and then there will be a range of options, all of the breakout rooms, as well as main session down the bottom. And so allowing you to move people to the main session is a relatively recent update. And that gives us the chance to bring back our contestants without them having to, well, they still have to accept an invitation, but it allows us to prompt our contestants and bring them back to the room without any fuss. So that's a very easy way for us to navigate the breakout rooms in the meantime. Okay, so that reaches the end of our session for this evening. It's a little bit past 8 o'clock, so thank you for sticking with us if you have. I think we might have only lost one or maybe two people. Please do let me know later on if you have any questions. You can stick around after if you need to. But that's a very brief overview of Zoom itself and this Zoom Master role that's suddenly been thrusted into fame. Now, the key thing for Zoom itself is to remember what we're doing. So that's in order to be able to support our members shuffle them with ease, make sure that things aren't too confusing or that we're not going to make things more difficult for them. Because as we know, lots of people don't necessarily like Zoom. They've just suddenly been pushed into this thing because they enjoy Toastmasters. So we want to try and make the experience as easy as possible for them as well as others. Zoom
Thanks
itself.
very much, Troy.
No worries. Thank you,
Very
Rob.
much indeed. I think one of the things I would take away from this is to find someone to partner with and practice what you've been telling us. That's the key to this, isn't it? I've been doing it for a year or two now, and I still manage to screw it up most times.
Well, that's normal.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, it is.
I was on mute, sorry.
Sorry, Richard.
Nice try, Richard.
Work,
and before anyone goes, I completely agree that the practice is certainly a key for getting to know Zoom. There's always something that will go wrong. You can guarantee it. So the best thing that we can do is make sure that we're prepared should it go wrong or when it goes wrong. Because you certainly can guarantee something will happen, much like it did tonight. You need to be able to go with the flow, stay flexible, and still be able to ensure that people will end up doing what they need to. So yeah, for sure, gather a buddy or come along to the monthly Zoom sessions, join on in, and then you can find someone to practice with and keep on trying, get yourself comfortable with that. So very good note. Thanks, Rob.
Zoom session. When's the monthly Zoom sessions?
The third Wednesday of every month. Those are held up on the District 112 calendar, and that's got the Zoom links in it as well. Ellen, you had
anyone who reads that.
Where's the District 112 calendar?
Let's see, Nathan, you've been very helpful in posting the odd bits and pieces in there. Would you mind throwing a link up to the D112 calendar, please?
Yep, all good.
Thank you, man.
Unfortunately, as much as I'd love to join those sessions, it clashes with our club night.
Yeah, I appreciate they're not going to work with everyone, and I will look at hosting a different session perhaps on another night, so then we can try and make do for those.
Georgie. It's only once a month.
Our club's only once a month.
Yeah, well, you've got 9 of them. It's not surprising.
That's a good
Oh,
note.
I'm cutting back.
Okay,
Are they
well,
recorded, Troy? The monthly ones, are they recorded?
they haven't yet, but much like this session here, I want to be able to try and record the technicalities as well, which you can't do through Zoom. So now I think I found a good recording method. And if this does work, then I can be recording our monthly sessions too. Was that your question?
Oh, and another one, tomorrow night's session, is that the same as tonight or is it different?
Yes, it's the same. So much like we talked about, if you want that practice, then please do feel free to come along, but it will be the same. So don't feel like you're missing out if you can't, or of course the most likely option, you've probably had enough. So
I've got some other people coming along tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Thank you. All right, Neil, what's your question?
Some of the functionality is a function of the settings setup. Have you put sample settings in the material that you gave us to download?
I do have a standard meeting set up on the first page, and there are another few snapshots which will hopefully be helpful in finding your way around Zoom.
Yeah, come on. Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Troy. That was brilliant. Lots of little questions we didn't even know we could ask. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. No, I'm glad that it all worked out. I'll stop the recording as well in case anyone wants to mention